I will never question her love for me, but every day I have moments where I'm like, geez, like, chill out. You're really like coming at me.
I'm a bad mom, I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad woman, I'm a villain or whatever. Okay, got it. I'm not perfect, but he'd never stand up for me, period.
Manon storms off the tell-all stage, eyes blazing, voice shaking, and the word divorce hangs in the air like a thunderclap. Anthony sits there frozen, staring after her as the room goes silent. One minute the cast argues about relationship problems. The next minute the entire set watches a marriage crack open in real time. The energy shifts fast. One partner feels attacked from every direction. The other looks like a man trying to survive a storm without making it worse. Viewers at home see the same thing the cast sees. Something deeper than a normal argument explodes in front of everyone. And the moment she storms off, you can see Anthony realize this situation might be reaching a breaking point. Manon insists she feels humiliated. She says people enjoy tearing her down. Her voice rises with every sentence. Anthony tries to calm the moment, yet his face shows something else. Exhaustion. The kind that builds slowly over months. This moment hits hard because the conflict sits in plain view. Cameras roll, other couples watch, no private space, no pause button. Every word lands in public. But the bigger shock sits beneath the surface. This meltdown did not come out of nowhere. Anthony never claims Manon does not love him. He repeats that point more than once. Yet love alone does not stop tension when two people feel misunderstood every day. One person feels constantly judged. The other feels trapped between defending his partner and protecting his own peace. And once that pressure starts building, the smallest spark can ignite the whole thing. So the real question hangs over everything that follows. How long does Anthony keep absorbing the conflict before he reaches his own limit? Because what happened on stage looks explosive, yet the truth behind this moment started long before the tell-all lights turned on. The chaos on the tell-all stage makes more sense once you rewind a little. This couple did not walk into the studio calm and steady. The tension followed them there. Earlier in the season of 90 Day Fiance, both of them moved to France with one goal in mind: fix the marriage, new place, new start, new energy. At least that was the plan. But reality hit fast. Manon believed she sacrificed a lot to build this life: new country, new home, new routine for their family. From her point of view, the pressure stacked on her shoulders first. When someone feels like they gave up everything, every disagreement starts feeling personal. Anthony faced a different challenge. He stepped into a country where he did not fully speak the language. Finding work did not look simple. He took a job in a kitchen at a fast food spot. Not glamorous, not high pay, but it kept income coming in. And that job choice quietly became one of the biggest pressure points in their relationship. Money stress creeps into relationships faster than people expect. Low salary, long hours, and constant adjustment create tension. Add cultural differences on top of that, and the cracks start showing. Life in a small French village looked peaceful from the outside. Quiet streets, tight community, slow pace. But adjusting to that rhythm does not feel easy for everyone. Manon struggled with it. The environment felt limiting. Anthony tried to make the best of it. Two different reactions to the same situation. And when two partners see the same reality in completely different ways, arguments start feeling endless. Some viewers watching the season noticed the tension early. The disagreements kept popping up. Small comments turned into big reactions. Still, most people expected a rough patch, not a public explosion. Plenty of couples argue during the season. That part does not shock anyone anymore. The tell-all usually brings heated moments. But a full emotional meltdown in front of the entire cast feels different, because on that stage there is nowhere to hide. The questions come directly from other cast members. The clips replay the worst moments. And every unresolved issue from the season suddenly lands on the table. Which means the tell-all does something dangerous for this couple. It forces both of them to face questions they spent the entire season avoiding. The moment everyone settles into their seats on the tell-all stage, the tension feels thick. The cast from 90 Day Fiance sits side by side, smiling at first, making small talk, pretending the room feels relaxed. But everyone knows the format. The questions start soon, and those questions rarely stay polite. One by one, the couples prepare for anonymous questions sent in by other cast members. The idea sounds simple. Honest feedback. Maybe a little curiosity. In reality, those questions often hit the exact nerve people try to hide. Then, Manon receives hers. The question lands bluntly. Does Anthony still make you feel like you want to die inside? The room freezes for a second. Even the other cast members look unsure how she will answer. A comment like that carries weight. It sounds harsh, especially when your partner sits right next to you. Manon pauses. Then she answers honestly. Sometimes yes. And in that moment, the energy on stage changes instantly. A few people laugh nervously. Others look shocked. Because statements like that hit hard when spoken in front of cameras, cast members, and millions of viewers. Manon tries to explain her words. She says she speaks her truth. She says she refuses to pretend everything feels perfect when it does not. According to her, their relationship has high points and low points. She admits the lows feel intense. Anthony sits quietly while she speaks. Then, he responds in a way many people did not expect. He says he never questions her love for him. That line lands softly in the middle of a loud conversation. Instead of firing back, he tries to soften the mood. He explains that her way of expressing emotions feels strong sometimes. Yet he still believes she cares about him. And that calm reaction reveals something important about the dynamic between them. Some couples fight loudly but repair the damage quickly. Others operate under constant tension, where every disagreement adds another layer of frustration. Watching these two, you start noticing a pattern. Manon reacts with intensity. Anthony absorbs the moment and tries to keep the peace. Neither approach solves the deeper conflict. When one partner feels unheard and the other feels overwhelmed, conversations start circling the same problems again and again. The tell-all stage magnifies that cycle. Clips from the season replay on the screens. Cast members begin sharing their opinions. Everyone sees the disagreements that built up over months. Then, the discussion turns toward Anthony's work situation in France, and the second that topic appears, Manon's expression changes again. Because this part of their story touches a nerve that already caused serious tension long before the cameras arrived. The conversation shifts, and suddenly the focus lands on Anthony's job in France. At first, the topic sounds simple. Work, income, normal adult responsibilities. But the moment the details come out, the tension creeps right back into the room. Anthony explains that he took a job working in a fast food kitchen. Long hours, physical work, pay around €900 a month. Not glamorous, not a dream career, but it kept money coming in while he adjusted to life in a country where the language still feels unfamiliar. Manon does not hide her frustration about it. She says the pay feels too low for the amount of effort he puts in. She questions why he spends so much time working for such a small return. From her point of view, the situation looks unfair and exhausting. And the second she starts describing the job like that, the mood on stage tightens again. Some people watching understand her frustration. Financial pressure creates stress in any relationship. When income feels limited and the future looks uncertain, emotions rise fast. But the situation also holds another side. Anthony stepped into a new country where every small task requires extra effort. Ordering food, speaking to coworkers, understanding instructions. Those daily challenges pile up when someone works in a second language. Yet he still took the job. He did not wait for the perfect opportunity. He worked with what he had. Which raises a quiet question many viewers start asking themselves while watching this moment unfold. Is the conflict about money, or does pride play a role too? Status carries weight in relationships. Some people care deeply about how their partner's job looks to others. Others care more about effort than image. That difference alone can create endless arguments. Manon explains her frustration as concern for Anthony's time and energy. She believes the job drains him without offering stability. From her perspective, she wants something better for their future. Anthony listens. He does not interrupt much. That pattern appears again. One partner speaks with intensity. The other stays quiet and tries to keep the peace. But the calm does not last long. Because the next topic pulls the conversation away from work and straight into something far more personal. The discussion turns toward Anthony's relationship with his family. And once that door opens, the tension climbs to a completely different level. The conversation turns toward family, and the atmosphere shifts again. Up until this point, the tension sat mostly between Manon and Anthony. Now another voice enters the picture. Anthony's aunt walks onto the stage. She holds an important role in his life. He has said before she feels like a second mother to him. That history gives her words extra weight. The host asks about their relationship today. Her answer comes out calm, but direct. She says she does not speak with Anthony often anymore. Then, she adds something that makes the room go quiet. She claims Manon controls his phone. For a second, the cast looks at Anthony to see if he will deny it. Moments like this reveal a lot about a relationship. Anthony does not rush to argue. He admits there has been tension around communication with his family. The issue goes deeper than simple misunderstandings. At one point, his sister ended up blocked on his social media account. That detail sparks immediate reactions around the room. And suddenly the conversation shifts from relationship drama to something far more uncomfortable. Family boundaries, trust, privacy. Those subjects carry emotional weight for almost everyone. Many couples struggle with them. When two families merge, the balance rarely feels simple. Manon listens while the topic unfolds. Her body language shows frustration building again. From her point of view, Anthony's family has criticized her repeatedly. She believes they speak about her in negative ways. Feeling attacked creates a defensive reaction. Anyone in that situation would struggle. She explains that hearing those comments hurt her deeply. In her mind, protecting herself meant limiting certain conversations. Blocking the sister came from that place of pain. But the audience hears something else underneath that explanation. When one partner begins controlling communication with family members, the dynamic changes quickly. What begins as emotional protection can start looking like isolation. Anthony explains another detail that raises concern. He says he sometimes deletes messages from his sister before Manon sees them. Not because he wants to hide secrets, but because he wants to avoid another argument. That sentence lands hard. Living in fear of someone's reaction creates a tense environment inside any relationship. At the same time, Manon insists she never asked him to cut off his family. She says she wants respect. She wants people to stop attacking her character. The truth might sit somewhere in the middle. Hurt feelings on one side, defensive behavior on the other. And the longer this conversation continues, the more pressure builds inside Manon. The studio screens begin playing clips from the season. Moments of arguments. Moments of frustration. Scenes that show their disagreements in front of millions of viewers. Watching those memories replay feels uncomfortable even for the audience. For Manon, the experience hits much harder. Her expression changes while the clips roll. The frustration slowly turns into something deeper. And within seconds, it becomes clear she is reaching a breaking point right there on stage. The clips keep playing, and something shifts inside Manon. The earlier frustration turns into something heavier. Her face tightens, her eyes start to water. A few seconds later, the tears come. She watches the scenes of their arguments on the screen while the cast sits around her. The room stays quiet. No one interrupts because the emotion on her face says everything. Then she speaks. She says people see her as the villain, a bad mom, a bad wife, a bad woman. The words come out fast, almost like she has been carrying them for months. Each sentence sounds like a reaction to criticism she has heard again and again. And the second those words leave her mouth, the tension in the room rises another level. Public criticism hits differently from private conflict. When arguments play out in front of millions of viewers, every mistake feels magnified. Anyone in that position might feel defensive. That defensive reaction starts showing clearly now. Manon insists she never claimed to be perfect. She says she only wanted her husband to stand up for her when others questioned her behavior. In her mind, the biggest betrayal is not the arguments themselves. The betrayal comes from feeling alone while those arguments happen. Anthony listens while she speaks. His expression stays calm, but the frustration shows in small ways. He keeps trying to explain that he understands her feelings. At the same time, he wants space to express his own thoughts without triggering another explosion. That difference sits at the center of their struggle. One partner wants loyalty and protection. The other wants freedom to speak honestly. And when both needs collide in front of an audience, the emotional pressure becomes overwhelming. Manon's breathing gets heavier. She shakes her head as more comments come from the stage. Each response from the cast seems to push her deeper into the belief that everyone sees her as the problem. Finally, she reaches her limit. She stands up abruptly. Her voice rises again. She says she cannot sit there and be humiliated any longer. The dress she wears suddenly feels uncomfortable. The entire studio feels suffocating. Then she walks off the stage. The cameras follow the chaos as she heads straight backstage, leaving Anthony sitting there with the rest of the cast. And what happens next moves the conflict away from the bright lights of the stage into a far more private space behind the scenes. Manon storms into the backstage area, her hands clutching the sides of her dress. Her voice is sharp, almost trembling with anger. She says she cannot stay any longer. She feels humiliated, exposed, and cornered. Every moment on stage has piled onto months of frustration, and now she needs out. Anthony follows at a slower pace, his face calm but tense. He keeps his voice steady, trying to reassure her, telling her the worst part is over and that they can take a break. But his words barely land. Manon is already past hearing. She repeats that she does not want the cameras on her, that she cannot handle one more second of public scrutiny. The contrast between them is stark. Anthony processes the situation quietly, his patience showing even as he is clearly frustrated. Manon reacts immediately, physically and emotionally. One partner withdraws, the other explodes. That push and pull has defined their relationship, and it is on full display now. Behind the studio walls, the air is tense. Manon moves toward her dressing room, pacing and gesturing, while Anthony tries to follow with a measured approach, attempting to keep the conversation grounded. Every sentence they exchange highlights how differently they manage conflict. One needs to express every emotion as it comes. The other needs time and space to process before responding. Her frustration turns to almost desperation. She mentions divorce again, as if saying it will release some of the pressure she feels. Anthony does not lash out. He listens. He repeats that he loves her and wants them to work through this, but he cannot force her to stay calm or change how she feels. Their dynamic is fully exposed now, emotional intensity versus controlled composure. And the question that has been hanging over the entire episode becomes impossible to ignore. How long can Anthony endure this cycle of emotional storms and withdrawal? How much longer before the pressure breaks, something neither of them wants to lose? The confrontation ends without resolution. Manon retreats into the dressing room, leaving Anthony in the empty backstage corridor. The silence that follows is heavy, filled with unspoken tension. Their relationship remains in the balance, and the next steps are uncertain. Fans immediately took to social media after the tell-all, and the reactions were intense. Some viewers said they could feel Manon's frustration and pressure. They argued she was being ganged up on in front of everyone, and that no one really understood how much she sacrificed to move to France. Many empathized with her struggle to adjust to a new culture, new job expectations, and the constant judgment from cameras and family alike. On the other side, a large group of viewers expressed sympathy for Anthony. They highlighted how he tries to stay calm while being criticized and monitored at every turn. People noticed the sacrifices he made too, working in a low-paying job, learning a new language, and handling family dynamics he never anticipated. Fans debated how long he could continue in a relationship where so much tension seems unavoidable, and many wondered if the public exposure only made things worse. Watching from outside, it becomes clear how public pressure can amplify private issues. Relationships that might survive in private can unravel quickly when emotions are displayed under the scrutiny of cameras and millions of viewers. Every argument, every defensive reaction, every accusation is magnified, and the stakes feel higher than they are at home. Manon and Anthony's story shows how conflicting expectations, pride, and emotional vulnerability collide. One partner feels attacked, the other feels trapped, and the result is a spiral that is difficult to control. Fans are split, some rooting for Manon to assert herself, others hoping Anthony finally stands his ground. The discussion online mirrors the tension on stage, and it keeps everyone questioning what will happen next. The tell-all is only beginning. If the first part caused this much chaos, the next episode could push their relationship even closer to the edge. With emotions running high and public scrutiny relentless, it is impossible to predict whether they can find common ground or if this will mark the start of a permanent unraveling. Viewers are left wondering, how much more can this marriage endure before something breaks?